everyone, and welcome to the Tess Thomas Show. I'm Tess Thomas. For this first episode, I had a lot of ideas of what I was going to talk about. I even had a completely different script written, and something terrible happened. A man drove a truck into a group of pedestrians in New Orleans, and I knew I just had to make this my very first episode. But before we get into this crazy story, make sure you follow this channel and make sure you hit the notification bell so you never miss when I upload an episode. So let's talk exactly about what happened yesterday at 3:15 a.m. in the morning when a man drove a Ford Lightning truck into a group of pedestrians. He killed about 10 to 15 people and around 35 people were injured. That includes 2 police officers that were shot by this man. So, who was this guy? His name was Shamsud Dinjabar. He was 42 years old and he was born and raised in Beaumont, Texas. He also was an Army veteran. He served in the Army from the years 2007 to 2020. He was specifically deployed in Afghanistan for about a year. But before he served in the military, something I found was really interesting, he also served in the Navy, but he was discharged after 1 month of being there. He was also discharged from the military for reasons that aren't super clear right now. A few places are reporting that it wasn't a dishonorable discharge, but there's some speculation as to whether he had terrorist intentions before he was discharged. CNN specifically talked about his discharge from the military, in which they said, "We believe he was honorably discharged, but we are working through this process figuring out all this information," Aletha Duncan, FBI Assistant Special Agent in charge, said during a news conference this afternoon. So again, we're not 100% sure why he was discharged from the Navy or the military, and there's a lot of speculation out there as to why, but it definitely makes one question about what this man was doing in the military and after the military. He's said to be a real estate agent from 2019 to 2023, but he seemed to also be having a lot of severe financial struggles. Court documents show that Jabbar, the terrorist, was having financial struggles at the time. His divorce decrement declared that he needed to pay the mortgage, and court documents were showing that he was $27,000 past due, so he was clearly falling short on things. His career as a real estate agent were clearly not working. And according to the New York Post, Jabbar was not on a terror watch list previously, but with his 2 discharges from the military, it makes one wonder if he has been involved with terrorist organizations or groups previous to being discharged. Again, we don't know much about this guy, and FBI also doesn't know much about him, and so their investigation is still ongoing. So I want to talk exactly about what the FBI is saying about this act and what was happening. So they've declared it an act of terrorism. I agree. Some people are saying it. Maybe he's just acting of his own accord, but I happen to agree with the FBI that this was a terrorist act. The FBI was looking for possible associates because there were 3 to 4 bombs planted in the area of New Orleans where the attack happened. I believe it was the French Quarter, one of the most popular places in New Orleans. This place was supposed to be barricaded off, but the barricades, they're being renovated, but it actually didn't matter because Jabbar drove on the sidewalk to hit the pedestrians. So the pedestrians were not safe where they were, it turns out, because there were no barricades. But to talk about the bombs more, there were 4 people who were suspected. It was 3 men and 1 female who were being suspected of being associates with Jabbar. But FBI later told news networks that these people were they're no longer being investigated because some video surveillance footage showed that they were not involved in this act, but the bombs were still there. And the identity of the people who are being suspected are still unknown, and we still don't know if there were any associates with this man. Also being investigated is whether Jabbar had any radical religious or political views. An ISIS flag was found in Jabbar's car after he was killed by police officers. And some officials are saying that he made a series of videos talking about wanting to join or did join ISIS, but I was unable to find these videos and I haven't seen anywhere else. I'm not sure if there's 100% true, but it's clear that this man had some terrorist intentions and that the FBI is still looking into it more. Now let's get into this story a little bit more. I want to talk about the car because the car is really interesting. An article said the truck used in the attack was listed on the car rental site Turo. The vehicle's owner told CNN in a text message. 2 federal law enforcement officials also told CNN the truck did not belong to the suspect. The vehicle, a white Ford F-150, Lightning electric truck is registered to a Houston man who has worked for the car dealership where the vehicle was sold, according to public records, based on the vehicle's license plate. So Jabbar did not own this truck. It was rented. There's some weird things with this specific truck that it maybe illegally crossed the border, but I'm not 100% sure about what's happening there, but it's clear this was not his truck. It was a rental. It's really interesting to think about what this man is doing with his life and with his truck and how he was even able to afford it, because it's clear he was not even able to afford things like his mortgage, and he was having severe financial struggles at the time. After Jabbar drove into after he hit about 10 to 14 different people with his car, he got outside of his car, he opened fire, injuring the 2 police officers, and then he was shot down by the New Orleans police and pronounced dead on the scene. Also, what happened on January 1st is really interesting, and this one happened in Las Vegas. A Cybertruck was exploded outside of the Trump Hotel. Luckily enough, the Cybertruck was fortified enough to the point where the bomb did not injure anyone, but people have been wondering as to whether the Cybertruck blowing up and the terrorist attack in New Orleans are correlated. Nothing is for sure right now, and the FBI is seriously thinking that this is a possibility, and it's under really scrutinous investigation. But we are not sure. So what do you guys think? Do you think it was a terrorist attack what happened in New Orleans, or was Jabbar attacking on his own accord? Do you think that the New Orleans attack and the Cybertruck explosion were correlated? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for joining me on the Tess Thomas Show. I'll see you guys next time.